Have you ever looked at a mountain range and just seen these layers of rock bent into these massive, incredible waves? And you just gotta wonder, how in the world does solid rock do that? Well, today we're gonna unravel that very mystery, and you'll see the answer is actually simpler than you might think.
So, to understand how entire continents can get wrinkled up like this, we're going to start with something much, much smaller. Something you might even have in your own home right now. You can picture this right now, can't you? You give the edge of a rug a little push, and it bunches up into these little hills and valleys. Well, that super simple action is the exact same principle that creates these colossal folds in the Earth's crust. It is all about the push.
Okay, so let's officially make that leap. We're going from the wrinkles you can make on your living room floor to the massive wrinkles that literally define the continents we live on. You know, in geology, that wrinkle has a name. It's a fold. And the most important part of that definition is that it's a bend caused by compression, an unbelievable squeeze. We're not talking about a crack or a break. The rock is deforming. It's not shattering. That's the key. Here's another way to think about it that might help. Imagine a stack of books, right? You push on both ends, they've got nowhere to go but up, arching into a bend. That arch is a fold. The Earth's crust is just a much, much, much bigger stack of books.
Okay, so this brings us to the biggest question of all. I mean, we think of rock as the very definition of something that's hard and brittle. So how on earth does it bend? Let's take a look at the secret ingredients.
Right, this is the whole puzzle. If you hit a rock with a hammer on the street, it's going to shatter into a million pieces. But if you squeeze an entire continent, it folds. Why are the outcomes so different?
Well, it all comes down to the conditions. It's like a recipe. You can't fold a rock on the surface. Nope, you have to go deep, and I mean deep, where the temperature and the pressure are just off the charts. It's this combo of incredible heat and pressure that makes rock behave in a completely different way.
Think about it like this. Cold glass is super brittle, right? It'll snap under stress. But if you warm up a piece of wax, it gets soft and pliable. Geologists call that ductile. Deep inside the Earth, the same thing happens. That intense heat and pressure makes solid rock act more like warm wax, allowing it to slowly bend and flow over millions and millions of years.
So now that we know how rocks can bend, let's look at the two main shapes they create. And don't worry, there's a really simple way to remember which is which.
Okay, so meet the anticline and the syncline. An anticline is an upward arch. Just think of the letter A for arch or a sad face. A syncline is a downward trough. Think S for sinks or a smiley face. And here's a really cool detail for you. In an anticline, the oldest rocks get pushed up into the very center of that arch. But in a syncline, the youngest rocks settle into the core of the trough.
Now, for those of you who want to go a little deeper, geologists actually have names for the different parts of a fold. The tightest part of that curve is called the hinge, the two sides are called the limbs, and an imaginary line that cuts it right down the middle is the axial plane. You don't have to memorize this stuff, but it's kind of cool to visualize the anatomy of these giant things.
So why does any of this matter? I mean, who cares? Well, it matters because these folds aren't just pretty geological features. They are clues. Clues that let us read the Earth's incredibly dramatic history. Here's the key idea. Every single fold out there is like a frozen moment of geological action. They're like storytellers, preserving a record of the immense forces that shaped our planet millions of years ago. And what a story they tell. By studying the shape and direction of these folds, geologists can figure out which direction the rocks were being squeezed from, how deep they were when it all happened, and basically piece together the entire tectonic history of a region. It's like geological forensics. And this story, it has some very real consequences for us today. The same massive compression that creates these folds, it's the very same process that builds the Earth's great mountain belts, like the Himalayas and the Alps. And on top of that, the arch shape of anticlines creates these perfect natural traps where oil and gas get stuck, making them absolutely vital for finding our energy resources. All right, we have covered a lot of ground, from carpets all the way to continents. So let's bring it all together and lock in the final takeaway from this little explainer on Earth's big squeeze. Here is your quick reference guide, your cheat sheet. Just remember this. Anticline is the arch, oldest rocks in the middle. Syncline is the trough, youngest rocks in the middle. Simple as that.
But if you're only going to remember one core concept, just one thing, please make it this. It's not about snapping, it's about bending. And that bending only happens with the right ingredients, slow compression, deep inside the hot, high-pressure kitchen of the Earth. So if there's one thing you take away from all this, it's this.
Folds are simply Earth's wrinkles. They're the beautiful, incredible result of rocks being squeezed so hard they bend but don't break.